Broad Street Review podcast is an extension of Broad Street Review, Philly's home for arts, culture, and conversation, an online arts and culture journal covering the greater Philadelphia area. I'm your host, Darnell Radford.
Today on the podcast, Catherine Clark, Development and Communications Director for Theater Philadelphia, and artist Jenna Kuerzi drop in to talk about the 6th annual Philly Theater Week. Here is my interview with Catherine Clark and Jenna Kuerzi. And welcome to the podcast. I am your host, Darnell Radford, and today I am in the virtual studio with two wonderful human beings. I am here with Catherine Clark, who is the Development and Communications Director at Theater Philadelphia, and I am here with theater artist extraordinaire, Jenna Kuerzi. Welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Yes. So we're here to talk about the 6th annual Philly Theater Week. Where has the time gone?
That is a good question.
It feels like it feels like, only yesterday that Philly Theater Week was starting its first annual, and then something happened where we just decided to stay home for a long length of time, and then I have no idea. Like, it feels like I haven't been outside in a minute, and then
Honestly, I blinked
everything
and it was
started to wake up again. 6th annual. So tell us about this year's Philly Theater Week. What has changed and what has remained?
Well, we are all back, which is really nice. The past 2 years have been virtual, outdoors, mostly virtual. So this is the 6th annual Philly Theater Week. We started in 2018, and like you said, it has come a long way since then. This year, we have 50 plus events going on from Philadelphia and Center City to West Philly, South Philly, all the way up to Bucks County, New Jersey, and Delaware. So all around, 35-mile radius. This year, we are having pay what you can tickets instead of the free $15 and $30 ticket model. And the pay what you can tickets allow us to reach new audiences, encourage people to donate to theaters, get people in the door to new theaters, all the good stuff.
Great. And what was it like pulling this all together this year? Was it business as usual? Was it a little, more of an effort, because of how things are going? What was it like?
It was good. Everybody was excited about the new pay what you can tickets. A lot of questions about that. What does that mean? How does that work? But it's been good. We have a lot of new companies, a lot of the same companies from 2018 who participated the very first time. Yeah, it's been really good so far. We had a great kickoff event at the Kimmel Center and met a lot of new folks there.
Yeah. And for the celebration, so we're recording this on March 21st, and last night was the Philly Theater Week kickoff celebration. And I did attend last year, but I did not attend this year. Life, but
life.
I knew, yes, but I knew it was going on. So tell us, can you talk about some of the performances that were there last night?
Yeah, we had, I think, 5 performances. We had Acting Naturally with Chicago Teen Edition, and they're a theater group from Bucks County. We had Beehive from Grand Theater, home of the Road Company. We had a performance by Catherine Perry, Sex Talk the Show. That was a lot of fun. We had Theater Unspeakable with the American Revolution show where everyone performs all together on a very small platform. We had New Light Theaters, A View from the Bridge. Did we have anyone else? We had Run Boy Run with Improvability, and that is their debut improv show that is going to be at Plays and Players.
Great.
We had a lot of people.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool lineup. And so it was at Hamilton Garden at the Kimmel Cultural Campus. If you haven't been there, it's the beautiful rooftop venue at the Kimmel Center, and that's such a wonderful space. I remember when it was unbearably hot up there, and now it's wonderfully climate controlled.
Yeah,
Great
it's no
space,
longer a hot
great space
box
to be in.
greenhouse.
Yes, it was a literal hot box. um, but that's so awesome that the Kimmel Cultural Campus is a partner in Philly Theater Week. It shows that this isn't just like a small, this isn't just small company kind of collective. Like we get to big organizations in, and it shows that arts and culture is truly alive and thriving. So it's really great. So hats off to the Kimmel Cultural Campus, one for just killing it all over the campus, and two for just hosting Theater Philadelphia for the kickoff celebration. Great work.
Yeah, it's been really great to see everybody come together, independent artists and big companies like the Kimmel. It shows how vibrant our theater community really is.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So let's bring Ms. Jenna Kuerzi into this conversation. Jenna, so I think the last time I saw you, it was what appeared to be the closing day for almost every theater company. Every theater company's like middle show of the season. It felt like every show was closing on that day. So I don't know how anyone got to see
Yeah.
any of those shows. I hope everyone got a chance. But so tell us what you've been up to this year.
Sure. I've been super busy this year, which is a good problem to have. I was up at Act Two doing Steel Magnolias. I was over at the Media Theater during Rent. I was playing Maureen in Rent. And then now I'm back there doing Bonnie and Clyde right now. And then that'll close on, while we're recording this on the 21st, that'll close on Sunday. And then immediately I leap into Johnny Depp prep. Yeah, it's been good. It's been a little crazy. I always say that like it's a good thing that theater has come back so vibrantly, but it's also an adjustment back
Yeah,
to the
yeah,
real world in a way that like there was no transitional period. We're just back now.
yeah. Let me ask you both. What do you prefer? Do you prefer the crazy, chaotic, like we are everywhere that we were before 2020, or the more like hey, perhaps self-care is something that we need to be focused on, and maybe we'll just take our time a little bit and actually pace ourselves. It's like it's a different thing once the car slowed down. We realized that perhaps we didn't need to run so fast.
That's so true. But then at the same time, you're like, but if I don't run fast, I'll miss everything when it's gone. Like
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think a good combo, run
Mhm.
fast, but like take a water break. I live for the chaos, so this is awesome for everything to be back. Just saying.
Yeah. I think what's great about being able to have conversations is that I get to be a part of the conversation, if even if I can't
Yeah.
physically be there. But I was actually doing a tally, and I think I am still seeing a good amount of theater
I know it's
before.
so weird.
Yeah, it
Like
was pretty
I
high before, and now I'm just
Yeah, it just
it's
keeps coming too. Like a new show pops up every day, which is a great problem to have. Um,
yeah.
I certainly missed it. The past 2 nights, this is again leading up to the 21st of March when we're recording this, have been like a reading with a small theater company, and then selling candles at Quigs for like an open mic that a bunch of artists put together. So there's just many things happening in Philly Theater Week and also beyond, in just the spectrum of just the theater community coming together. And it's been kind of cool to reemerge together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Jenna, you're bringing back Johnny Depp, a retrospective on late-stage capitalism.
Yes,
And
or if you're
how
the
long?
Inquirer, it's late night capitalism. Yes.
Oops.
Oops.
As long as I got the link to the site right.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Can you buy tickets?
Yeah.
Sure. The late stage capitalism is alive and well. Yeah.
Yes. So how many years have you been doing this piece?
So I'm pretty sure, I can't remember if it was 2018 or 2019. It might have actually been the second Philly Theater Week, because the first one was like it felt a little more unofficial.
Hmm.
So it might have been the 2019 Philly Theater Week. And
Hmm.
so Val and I just developed it in her living room and had people throw pennies at me. Me and Val Dunn, my co-creator. And then Val moved overseas. The pandemic happened. We still participated in Philly Theater Week. We did, I started making candles with my candle company, Dumpster Fires for You, and we were writing poetry and doing candle stuff during the pandemic. And then we made like one virtual thing together for Philly Theater Week. And then now Johnny Depp's back, but Val got married and moved to Bristol, and she's very happily married to her beautiful wife. And she said, I give you permission to take the show and make it a solo show. I will be your script consultant. So now it's been like, what is that, like 4 years? 19, 20, 21, 20. Yeah, 4 years, I guess. 4 years of Depp. How embarrassing.
So I remember missing like an initial promotion for it,
Mhm.
and I thought it was kind of silly that I had to fly all the way to Edinburgh just just to see it. But I very much enjoyed it there with an international audience. It was a lot of fun. It was a great time. We got all 4 seasons in a day, every day. It was
Oh my God. It's just sweaty and also wet from rain at all times.
yes, and a little bit of sleet at night sometimes.
Yes.
It was crazy.
Yes.
So what's interesting about this piece is that I wanted to ask, have there been any changes since the latest news around Johnny Depp has placed more attention on the Jack Sparrow Dior spokesperson? You
Uh-huh.
know, has have you made any adjustments based on the shenanigans that are in the world of Johnny Depp?
Oh, yeah. Um, so, in addition to adapting it to a solo performance piece, because before it was like a one-ish, like we called it like a solo-ish show because Val played like the stage manager and voice of reason. So, along with adapting it, over the pandemic, Johnny Depp was very busy um, getting into trouble and having a high profile trial, not one but two. So I did have to change the entire ending of the play, uh, which is a great problem to have. And every day new information comes out, which is also like it's a wealth of riches to roast this guy in this play,
Mm,
because every day something new comes out that I'm like, oh, I got to put that in the show. Um, so it's constantly shifting. The structure of, we're going through his illustrious film, television, and video game voiceover appearances one by one
mhm.
and figuring out kind of what went wrong. The structure has remained the same, but a lot of things internally have shifted. Punchlines have sharpened. I think the commentary has gotten better with his bad behavior, um, because it feels less fluffy and feels a little bit more not to call it important, but it feels a little bit more poignant.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, uh, and didn't you have a podcast component at one point?
I
I
did.
I know that you sent me an invite and I selected some shows that had already been chosen, and then I don't think we
We'll
ever got a
circle
chance
back.
to
There's like
coordinate.
there's like 5 movies left. So
Yeah.
again, the world reopened. I pivoted to a podcast project called Depp Impact, and I was watching all of his movies and inviting people to come talk about it, just to see like where, our fondness for these movies came from. And it was a nice way to keep the show alive during the pandemic as well, when we were all super separated. But then I got really busy and gave up with like 5 movies left. So I am a completist. Darnell, we are getting you on there. I just have to get my life together. Let me get through this run of the show first, and then we can pivot to podcasts when I'm
Yeah,
not
no
booked
problem.
anymore. Yeah.
No problem. We'll find the time for it. So your show is going to be on stage at Fergie's Pub on the second floor, and if you're not familiar, for some odd reason, Fergie's Pub has a nice stage on the second floor. There's a bar up there, and that is a space for really fun work. And one of the things that inspired Rep Radio as a podcast was an event that happened at Fergie's Pub ages ago by a group called Hat G. It was
Okay.
called Hovering Above the Gutter Theater Company,
God, is that my
and
theater company? Oh my gosh.
yes, and the host of this it was a monologue slam hosted by Chris Morse, who became the first host of Rep Radio. And I remember going to Fergie's Pub and experiencing that, thinking what a great idea this was, and talking to Chris about how I had this podcast idea, and he said, "Oh my God, you should totally do that." And every time I saw him, he would push me to do this, and then he became the host, and here we are. It's 13 seasons later
Oh
for
my
Rep Radio, 7 seasons for Broad Street Review, and it's all because of Fergie's Pub. So thanks a lot, Fergie.
Yo, Fergie is a champion of the people. He is a champion of Philadelphia theater. He is like I cannot stress enough to the listeners how amazing both the vibe of Fergie's, like it's a good bar with good food and good people, but like
Hmm.
Fergie himself is such, and Jim, who's the co-owner of the bar, are just so amazing. And they work with small artists and they give you space to explore and make weird stuff. And then they text you pictures of a bunch of fake plastic gold doubloons that they found 6 months after your show happened and are like, please come back. It's just really special.
That's so awesome. There is something very unique about our creative community, that we are very supportive. It has never felt like we were in competition with each other, even though we are all struggling to get people back into spaces. And I wouldn't say struggling, but we are all using every possible resource available to ensure the community that it is safe to return to theaters and engage in this live experience that is one of a kind. And there isn't a night that is like any other night, and that is why live theater is so essential. uh, my little PSA
I agree.
there, to keep pointing that out. But yes, so it's a lot of people like Fergie, and the many artists and artistic supporters that keep our community alive. So we thank them so much for everything they do. And okay, so back to Philly Theater Week. There's so much going on stage, and so I was looking through this wonderful catalog that we have, the Philly Theater Digital Guide, which is
Ooh, I
so
haven't even
awesome.
seen it yet. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh. I need to
it's a
scrapbook it,
PDF.
Catherine.
Yeah, it's a PDF on the website, so you can download it, which I will have a link in the show notes for it, so you can see all of the many artists who are bringing some work to the stage, and there's a there's a great explanation of what pay what you can ticketing is. So thank you for that. It's also broken down by so in one space it's broken down by company, and then another space is broken down by neighborhood. So it makes it so easy for you to get around and figure out where you want to go depending on where you live. I know it's a week and you may not have enough time, but you know what? It's pay what you can. So just figure out how much money you have and want to break it into however many parts and decide how many pieces of art you want to support. So thank you for creating such a comprehensive digital guide. It's so great.
Of course. Yeah. And I did want to mention that Philly Theater Week is actually 11 days. So you
Hmm.
have a little bit longer than a week to see
Yeah.
shows. And at the end of the guide, there is a show by day section. So if you don't know what you want to see, but you know you have some time on Wednesday, you can go to the Wednesday page and see what's going on.
Cool. That's great.
Very easy
And
to use.
yeah,
And
and
Johnny
and
Depp
there's
runs
also a
longer.
breakdown. Oh, what was that? I'm
And
sorry, I
Johnny
didn't
Depp
want to.
runs longer than Philly Theater Week.
Yes, and that is the other thing that is great about Philly Theater Week. Um, Not all of the shows end at the end of Philly Theater Week. Some of them are just featured in Philly Theater Week, but have longer runs. So this is great because the premise of Philly Theater Week is just to give you an opportunity to engage in some of this work without having to figure out whether I don't know if I can do this. Is it a pay week? I don't know. At least you don't have to worry about any of that. It's like change in your pocket, come
Yeah.
into the theater.
Literally, I've had people hand me coins, and I go, "Yes,
Hmm.
please come enjoy the play. Here's your goodie
Yeah.
bag."
It it kind of reminds me of the Free Fringe
Mhm.
in Edinburgh, and now the Philly has a Free Fringe as well. And that sort of premise is a great way to make theater more accessible. Um, there is always a mindset that this is for a certain type of person because maybe prices aren't necessarily as accessible to as many people, and that's not the case here. So, please take a look at that guide because you can see there are some things in there that you may not have thought that you had an opportunity to experience, and you can on the pay what you can dates, which is really great. And it's also broken down by genre, which is really good because it's hard to figure out what you might want to do. Maybe you are interested in BIPOC stories. Maybe you're interested in LGBTQ stories or comedy or devised work. You can actually go through and see what those things are and figure out how to be a part of them. So, with that said, are there any shows beyond yours, Jenna, that you may be interested or excited that they are a part of Philly Theater Week?
I
And now I'll put that to both of you.
Sure. So I will be, in keeping with the Fergie's theme, I will be box office door person for Catherine Perry's Sex Talk, the show, at Fergie's on the 27th of March. So I'm helping Catherine out with that. And I'm excited to see it because I've seen many iterations of the show, kind of similar to Depp, but like Catherine's always changing Brooke and Brooke's opinions on things. So I'm excited to experience that. And then my other friend, Rachel O'Hanlon Rodriguez, is doing She Was a Conquistador,
Mm.
which is another show. This is so every road leads back to Fergie's because Rachel has been a good friend of mine since college.
Hmm.
And the first experimental piece or first experimental showing of Conquistador, she was testing out before performances of Johnny Depp. the first time we did the run at Fergie's. So I'm really excited to see how the show has shaped and become a thing, because it was just like a 5-minute stand-up set back then. But yeah, I'm excited about those two humans and their work.
Great.
Oh, that is
Right.
such a hard question, Darnell. Where do I begin? There's so much. I really can't pick just one. I know, there's a lot of great industry events. The resource sharing committee, which formed during the pandemic to rethink like recycled materials and set building. They're hosting a chill and chat, so it could be any, like, that's the thing about Theater Week. It's not just things on show, but there's like the chill and chat with industry people. There's so much. Quintessence is doing the Tempest. Curio is doing the Complete Death. So there's your Shakespeare covered. There's some dance with the Tale of the Slaughtered Hog from Paige Phillips. There's a show in a bedroom called The Bed Show, of course. There's a film. There's Freedom's Eve, which is a film and a theater play as a film. And there's murder mystery parties. There's the Golden Girls murder mystery. So
Yes.
there's such a range of things. I don't even know where to begin. It's all so exciting and great. There's a reading on banned books. It's everything, which is really what makes Philly Theater Week exciting and special and unique.
That's awesome. I will say that I saw an earlier version of the Golden Girls murder mystery, and it is packaged with some delectable delights and some very strong drinks. And I will
Do you
say,
get
not
cheesecake?
Oh my
yes,
gosh.
yes, we did. And not only did we have a great time, but we literally stumbled out of there. It was so much fun. We got to take some great photos. There were a lot of sing-alongs, because everybody loves the theme song. Yeah, and it's so much fun. So if you get a chance to see, that's Without a Q Productions, a Golden Girls murder mystery, a Philly story. It's in their new venue at Red Rum Theater on
Oh,
6th and Walnut
cool.
Street, which is awesome. Congratulations
I
for
know, more
them.
space is always a
Woo.
good
Yeah.
thing. Congratulations.
Yeah,
Yes.
so excited to hear that. One of my friends actually messaged me and said, "Hey, have you heard about this like place that does a murder mystery?" And I was like, "Oh my God, I've been there. I've seen a couple of their shows. I haven't been to that venue, but I have experienced their work. They do work here. They do work out of town. They did work at Peddler's Village. Like they've been
Oh,
around for 20 years.
oh wow.
That is
Yeah.
also what's great about our theater community, the staying power, even
Yeah.
through all of this. We just sort of think, you know what, maybe we just do 2 shows instead of 7, you know? Maybe, maybe we just do some readings instead, to just keep it alive. Maybe we just, have our artistic director act full on YouTube, just until, until we decide to come back into a space. We've done so many things to just make sure that people don't forget that we are still here. We're just sort of biding our time, waiting for a good moment to, return. And it does look like we are getting there. I think it's really great to kind of get out into the community and actually see people milling about. It was uh, it was kind of bittersweet, the excitement of our, sports teams this year,
Ugh, I know.
in a way, they kinda sucked up all the energy, but also they got everybody all juiced up, they got everybody excited to sorta go out and be supportive, and, so it just goes to show you that even though all of this, we are not hindered by this. We are still out there. We're still alive and kicking, and it's just awesome to see all of this. I live for the day that Philly Theater Week becomes just Philly Theater Month, I think
Yes.
it's
I
almost
feel like
there.
it's getting there. There
I
are
think
some
it
like
would collapse.
after theater week events. I would collapse. It's okay.
Yeah.
There are a lot of after theater week events, so some things go on until like May or June because the discount, the special pay what you can rate ends on April 2nd, but the shows happen later on. But I think we're getting there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel a certain loyalty to Philly Theater Week all day, every day, aside from my just general appreciation of what Theater Philadelphia does. But
Mm-hmm.
like, I think it's almost like the great equalizer in town a little bit, where like my play is being marketed exactly the same as like a Wilma play or an Arden play or like something else that's happening. I don't know if they're participating. I'm just saying words, but like something else large that is happening in this town. And it's just everybody's on the same playing field. We're all playing together to try and get butts and seats and support each other and help theater thrive under an umbrella.
Yeah. Well, I
Jenna,
think
you've
it's
got to do my theater week pitch from now on.
Listen, I'm bullying my way into hosting the real Barry Wars this year, so I'm ready.
Oh, the celebration was so much fun. That was so much fun.
That's my
And
vote of confidence,
what a
Catherine.
great space. That was a surprise. I had never been to that venue before.
Yeah, the Falzer Club.
It's so cool.
Yeah. And it's funny. I took a very long way to get there, and then when I got there, I realized I could have taken a train that wasn't too far from my house. Like, oh man!
You
But
live, you
yes,
learn. Mount Airy is not that far away.
no, not at all. But it was so much fun. Even though it wasn't the awards, it was a gathering. It was a collective.
It's a party.
Yeah, yeah, and
That's what
I
we're good
think
at.
that's also what artists do very well. It's so great. Full disclosure, my day job, I'm general manager at Theater Exile, and we know how to party at theater. So it is
I live
never a
around the
party
corner. I can
where
hear it. Ugh, all
yes, and
day. Just kidding.
our artistic director, Deborah Block, she is never too far without a bottle of whiskey to share. To share. It's not all for her, but it's yeah, it's so much fun. And there's so many pockets in Philadelphia of artistic energy that are really good too. And I think that's also why, again, going back to the guide, it's so great to have it broken down the way it is so that you can see, what parts of town you might be in to go do things. You may just go grocery shopping and you end up not too far from a venue and you're like, you know what, I have time.
You end up buying a candle from dumpster
Oh,
fires.
yeah,
There
that's
you
true.
go.
Anywhere. You could
Absolutely.
find me anywhere. No, all
Jenna.
roads lead back to Fergie's. That's what we've
I'll tell
learned
you,
today.
Jenna, I have one of your candles and I'm very sparing with it. Like, I don't light it all the time. I don't want it to end.
It's a sacred candle. Yeah.
Yes, very much so. Yeah, so let's see. What do we miss about Philly Theater Week? Is there is there anything else that what else is in there besides we have general divisive work, we have comedy, we have
There's improv, like Crossroads Comedy Theater is hosting a range of like 8 improv events. We have, I feel like I should do story time with the guide. Should, read from
Yeah.
page to page. That might be its own theater week event.
Listeners in the chat, you should click the link for the digital guide and you can actually follow along. You can scroll through. We're at Events by Company.
Events by company. Oh, I didn't put page numbers. Next year there will be page numbers.
It's okay. It's okay.
One thing that has stuck out to me that they have never participated in Theater Week before is Warehouse with Untitled Raccoon Play. So that is a reading and it just looks like a fun time. The 79th annual Raccoon Dinner in Danville, Ohio is at risk of being canceled. So we have to hear more about that. and find out why it's being canceled.
Yeah.
I need to talk to them.
Part of it is a lack of raccoons. Part of it is a lack of raccoons. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. We have Chris Davis is back with Sunday Best. That's always a hit during
Chris
Philly
Davis.
Theater Week. A Seance for Mae West from Aporia Artist Collective, but I will say that one sold out. That one sold out so fast. So no more tickets.
Wow.
You cannot go to the seance.
Maybe send them an email. I'm sure somebody won't show up.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. And then, it runs the gamut too. You've got individual artists doing devised work, and then you've got, established theater companies like Interact Theater Company, has a block for their current production, Pay No Worship. You've got Bristol Riverside Theater is listed in there as well, the Cabaret. And you got the Cannonball Festival.
Cannonball, they're having their kickoff event during Philly Theater Week. It's a fundraiser. You can go out and support Cannonball later this April when it happens.
Yeah. And listeners, if you're listening to this one, stay tuned for the next one because we will talk to Cannonball in the next episode. Yeah. So
good segue.
It's going to be all PTW. Yeah. There's so much. So we can definitely go and support these companies. But Theater Philadelphia wrangled all of this together, and amongst all the other great work that Theater Philadelphia does, how can our listeners support Theater Philadelphia?
There are so many ways to support Theater Philadelphia, but the easiest and most productive way is going to go to theaterphiladelphia.org. That is theater with an R-E, theaterphiladelphia.org. You can go on their website, view all of our programs, view everything happening on What's on Stage, and there is a donate button. So you can go straight to that donate button, and it's through PayPal, and you can decide how much you'd like to donate. It could be a monthly donation, but all of our donations go back into supporting the work that we do, our programs like Philly Theater Week. It helps keep Philly Theater Week pay what you can and get more people in the door.
Absolutely. And honestly, listeners, nothing gives you more bragging rights than a sustaining contribution. So seriously, go in there and click sustain. It could be anything because you are consistently contributing to everything that makes Theater Philadelphia tick. So definitely consider that. Don't delay.
Do it now.
Act now.
No! Well, time is running out. Actually, we have all the time in the world, but you should do it right now. The best time to do it was a minute ago.
It's when you're thinking time to do it. It's when somebody's telling you to go do it. Yeah.
Absolutely. We're just having fun. That's what we're doing. And that's what the theater community is all about. It's all about love. We don't get to hug as much as we used to. Oh, we miss that. We were such a huggy bunch.
That is so true. Every single Theater Philadelphia event, I feel like everybody needs to hug at all times. And I'm like,
yes,
I'm not a huge hugger. I'll do it. But it's just very interesting. A huggy
absolutely.
community.
All the hugs. All the time.
That'll be the next, instead of It's a Philly thing, it's just we hug.
Absolutely. I always quote there's a song in there's a line in Holiday Inn the musical. It's like, we have plenty to be thankful for. And so I always say that when I think about our community. There's so much going on here, and our artists extend their reach all the time, like particularly one Pulitzer Prize winning playwright who is just repping it for Philadelphia. That's wonderful. Taking a show to Broadway. That is Fat Ham we were talking about, of course.
Just a sensible, preview tonight on Broadway.
Yeah.
But Philly Theater has really supported that show since the very beginning. I mean, I remember there was a reading of Fat Ham in the 2019 Philly Theater Week. So
at Azuka.
it's really
And
Yeah,
Paige is reading
Yeah.
at a zoo.
exactly.
Yeah. I was
Exactly. So,
there.
yeah, I mean, we're a stone's throw from New York City, and I think it's wonderful that our artists are getting attention in New York City as well. So, we are all in celebration. I feel like Fat Ham is kind of like our World Series. It does seem like everyone in the
Yes.
community that is remotely tied to James
Yes.
Imes and that
Yeah.
production is a part of the promotion. I know that there's a Philly Day for that as well. We're not here to talk about Fat Ham, but we're just
It's just really
making
exciting.
a point.
So every time I have to
Yes,
talk
I'm
about
just
Fat
so
Ham.
excited.
The Philly Day is
Yeah.
April 2nd, so
Yes, it is.
technically falls during Philly Theater Week. So
Absolutely, yeah.
Which means
So
everybody will have shows.
yeah, so you'll
I
you'll
have a
have to go.
show.
You'll have to go to all of the shows before April 2nd that you want to go to in Philly Theater Week if you want to show up with all your Philadelphia friends in NYC to support one of our own. So that'll be great. But you can see how something like Philly Theater Week, which was designed to sort of introduce people to what our community has to offer, can spawn something that ultimately extends its reach even further than we may have imagined at the time. It may have just seemed like something that was like, hey, we're doing this thing, it'll be fun, and everyone here will enjoy it. And now the rest of the world uh, gets to experience it, and we can say we were there. I was there in that first reading. I saw that uh saw that
Saw that in the
virtual
living room.
production of it. Yeah, from the comfort of my own. I saw it from the comfort of my own living room. You know how you always have people and there are people in the theater who are just like you know braggy
Mm.
about like their connections. It's like,
Oh yeah.
I was sitting in my living room when I first saw this production.
Well,
It
I
was
was friends with him
wonderful.
one time in college. I talked to him twice. I know that's my James
Yes.
Imes story. I don't really know James, but one time I locked him in an escape room. So yeah, I was a
Oh
clue
man,
master at an
I
escape room.
I definitely put him on. I kind of put him on blast at a Philly theater meetup. At the Philly theater meetup at the beginning of the season.
oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was there, and I was like, "Is that Pulitzer Prize winning playwright James Imes?" And he's like, "Stop it! It's just James."
Just a person.
It was wonderful. But yeah, I mean, who knows? The show you see in Philly Theater Week can be the show that everyone is clamoring to see, in New York City in a
I
year or
mean,
so.
Darnell flew all the way to Edinburgh
Yep.
to come see
Mm-hmm.
Johnny Depp, a
Yeah.
retrospective on Late-Stage Capitalism.
And
And now it's
honestly,
even more relevant.
And now
Look
it's
at
even
look at
more
everything.
absolutely. And as another tie-in to Philly Theater Week, Chris Davis is doing Sunday Best.
Yeah, Sunday Best.
Yes, and Chris Davis is one of the reasons that I ended up in Edinburgh. I've been
Exactly.
following. I think he's one of the hardest working solo artists in our community, and there's so many people that have worked with him, that learned from him, and so on. And so it's just great that there's an offering by Chris Davis as part of Philly Theater Week. So this is great, and you can see how these ideas they just sort of build and they get bigger and they just spawn other ideas and they just make great it makes it great to be a part of our theater community. So yeah, i think it I think that's, yeah, let's aim for Philly Theater Month next year. You hear that, donors? Everyone listening, because we're going to need a little cash. We're going to need to go to that donate page and earmark some funding so that Philly Theater Week can become Philly Theater Month and really extend its reach. Like, this is the
And
push.
yeah,
Yeah, so
and
take this
attendance
podcast,
too.
we'll put it everywhere. We're like, hey, can I just send this to the William Penn Foundation? Here you go.
Well, reserve tickets too to as many things as possible because that's also helpful.
Absolutely.
Yeah, reserve
Absolutely.
tickets and come back. Don't just go to theater during theater week. There's so much happening all year round. This is just a sampling of it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, this is just a taste of what the community has to offer, and it's a great initiative. The 6th annual Philly Theater Week. Catherine Clark, Jenna Kuerzi, thank you so much for starting my conversations about Philly Theater Week. Looking forward to all the work that everyone put into bringing these pieces together. And it'll be great to get out there and experience some of this over the next, what is it, 11 days? 11?
Yes.
11 days. Yeah, wonderful. I love how we just don't have the concept of a week anymore.
It's never
like,
been a
what
week.
is a week?
It's
It was
always
always 10,
No.
wasn't
it
it?
was always 11, but we called it 10.
Yeah.
But
Now
It's
that
fine.
don't make no sense.
Yes.
what is
So-
time anyway?
Oh
Yeah,
my God.
I know. It's whatever. So go to go to theaterphiladelphia.org, and that's theater Philadelphia.org. And on the main page, you can click the Philly Theater Week tab to get all the information about Philly Theater Week, including you can download the digital guide, which is there. Catherine and Jenna, thank you so much for having a little fun with me and chatting about this. And go see Johnny Depp, a retrospective on Late-Stage Capitalism, and see if you already saw it. Come see it again and see what changes have been made. I'm sure it's wonderful because it was and it is. So thank you again so much for taking the time to chat with me. Truly a pleasure.
Thank you.
Want to get involved with Broad Street Review? Head on over to our website at www.broadstreetreview.com and click Get Involved at the top. While you're there, help keep us running and click Donate to find out how. Connect with us on social media, on Facebook and Twitter at BroadST Review. Thank you for helping to keep the conversation going.